Okay, we are going to do graduated layers in this cut. And oftentimes, the only time you're going to do a graduated layer is if they have like a lob and they want some layering. Graduated layers are the longest form of layers. It's a type of layer that I completely made up. I don't know if it's a thing. It's just something that I've learned because over the years of getting education, you learn this haircut, you learn that haircut, and you have to kind of connect the dots and fill it out yourself. So this is how I connected the dots myself. All right. So we're going to start with proper sectioning, section the back off from the front as usual. So with concave layers, okay, concave layers and graduated layers are very similar because you are cutting on a slant, all right? They're just opposite. So if I'm cutting a concave layer, okay, I'm going to always be standing on this side of the body, the right side of their body, and I will be moving around, okay, because I do a round shape with concave layers. With a graduated layer, I am doing a triangular shape, and I'm always on the left. I'm always on the left side of their body. Okay? That's how we're going to cut this graduated shape. And we're over directing everything to the middle. Get this out of my way. Now, everything under the occipital, I'm just going to let that fall out. Okay? It's going to fall out by itself. Now, I'm going to pull this straight out like this. Do you see it? Well, I want to pull this straight out from the head. When I do this, and I pull this straight out from the head, I'm going to create a 45-degree angle. Do you see this 45-degree angle? Now, this is the only time I'm going to tell you to do a no-no and have your wrist in an improper position. Now, see how my comb comes in and my comb immediately starts to have that angle, okay? Now, the shortest point, I can find the shortest point in the hair, and I cut from there. And I cut that 45. I'm going to cut that 45-degree angle from the occipital bone. That's where my layer, everything below the occipital drops out. I'm going to over direct all of that to the middle. Okay. Now, before I start cutting, I can see my guide here. One of the things I saw someone do one time was do this. I really like that. It gives you really clean, nice section. And before I start cutting, see that guide under there? Okay. You always have a clear guide. See my corner under here? Cutting more underneath, less on top. When you do a graduation like this, it helps encourage the hair to curl under. It's also called an undercut. Some stylists call it that. Different definitions, different languages in the hair community. And as you get to the sides, you're going to find that you have less and less to cut. Because of your over direction, you're preserving length. Now I'm standing way far out of the way so that you can see what I'm cutting. And you can see, you see how this nicely starts to have that bend, and this side, not so much. You see the difference, how that made that curl under, And this side kind of goes straight down, okay? Now I'm going to do this other side. But you see how I'm standing on the left? Always standing on the left so that I can see this clear angle. Over directed all to the middle. Look at that. Now I can see my top layers right here. That layer stops right about there. So the layers are only down here. When you comb, you can usually really see that really well. And obviously it's going to be shortest in the middle. Okay? Now, in the front, you're just going to have two sections, and see how I pulled that and I'm kind of connecting it to the back. See how I grabbed some from the back and I've just broke that in half in the front. Doing triangular. Now I have to raise this a little higher. But it's still pretty much straight out from the head and over directed to the back section. And I find a corner to cut. Because you have to protect this super weak area right here, okay? Super weak area, you do not want to cut a hole there. But see how I let that fall out? And I have a little corner to cut. That's going to help that curl under, okay? Now here, see, I can already see where it's falling out. Oh, can't see that. I can already see where it's starting to fall out right there. And I can see how it gets shorter right here. You can't see. Let me see if I can get my girl shorter. This cape is in the way. Okay. So this bang area, lift it all up. You see how there's short here, and I've got the short here. There's this corner in the middle. That's how I see weight. I pull this up. And I see that corner back there. Cut it off. Still at the 45-degree angle, but I cut off that weight. Now is going to be encouraged to all curl under. Do the same thing on the other side. Now, my body position, how can I get that 45-degree angle? It's not going to be quite the same. See, I'm going like this, okay? That's why you always have to be on this side to be able to get that 45-degree angle. See, this front section doesn't really connect to anything, but do you see that weight immediately? Now look, what I mean by weight, okay, so see where the shortest point of the hair is? Those little hairs, they start, see where they're short, and then it gets long there? It's almost already, like that's more than a 45. So we want it to be at a 45. That's your weight, okay? You just want to cut that corner off. And you want to comb this down, and you will literally be able to see the difference of the hair starting to curl under naturally if you cut those corners off with that slight graduation, undercut, whatever you want to call it, just cutting those corners off and finding the weight. So there you go. That's your graduated layer, and you only do that with Lobs. Okay, I'll see you on the next one.